People will know that every August, as I recall, it was always too early in August. As a kid, I'd start to be reminded that it was time to go back to school. That was unfortunate, at least from my perspective, but that's accompanied by all these ads. And so there's a lot of pressure, a social pressure on parents to provide a whole bunch of school supplies for their children. And for some of us here in Kingston, that's no problem. Cost is not an issue. For many others, all too many others, cost is a big issue. We're at a suburban storage unit here in Kingston, and the owners of the storage unit have been kind enough to donate free storage capacity for the Social Issues Networking Group, which is a group that works on social justice issues here in Kingston, issues of poverty and social inequality. But we also try to work to some extent on issues of charity, like helping out with the symptoms of poverty, and we have a lot of poverty and inequality here in Kingston. So one of the things we do with respect to the symptoms of poverty is once a year, and this year it will be on August 13th at Crossroads United Church on Sir John A. Macdonald near Princess. We run this backpack, this back to school program, and people are invited to come, and our doors open at 10 o'clock on August 13th, and first come, first served, and we give out school supplies to people in need.
This is a program that we started because we had parents and teachers and guidance counselors approach us and tell us that there were children in their schools and children going to school who could not afford school supplies. The cost of the basics, food, shelter, electricity, transportation was using up all of their budgets, and they simply could not provide school supplies for their children.
It's really important that children feel as secure as possible, and in our society, security and those kinds of feelings all too often and unfortunately come with the amount of stuff that you have. So some of the stuff is of course necessary, pencils, papers, erasers, that kind of thing. So there can be competition. Do you have the latest stuff? So what we try to do is provide the latest stuff for kids who are going to grade 1, going to grade 9, going to grade 11. And every year our program is really highly subscribed, which is a sign that this need, this unfortunate need, exists here in Kingston.
There was one year where we gave out over 800 backpacks, and we ran out of supplies very early. We had run it for 2 days. We had planned to run it for 3, and we had no supplies left. Now we're running it for a single day, and the last couple of years our supplies have held. Not everything, but most things until the end of the day. The basic school supplies: pencils, erasers, paper, calculators, pencil cases, backpacks.
Kingston has historically always been a town that's divided. Town divided north of Princess, south of Princess. That's changed, obviously. Robertson Davies, a famous Canadian author, once called Kingston a town where the social divisions were as sharp as you could cut them. And what we're trying to do is dull the edge of that sharp blade. So I think that anybody who's concerned about these issues of poverty and social inequality, it's important to help out with these charitable donations, and we're more than willing to accept cash donations, donations of school supplies. But as I said, it's necessary, but it's far from sufficient. We really need to be working towards a society where our efforts are no longer necessary.
Well, children who go to school, measure themselves by what their peers have, and if you have to go to school without a nice backpack or without a lunch bag or without a calculator, children really do feel that they're not equal to the other students in their classes, and they do feel marginalized and left out. So it's extremely important, especially at the beginning of the year where they go and where they might have to meet a new teacher, they might have to meet a number of new children, and they need to feel comfortable and at home. And if they go already without and feel, deprived, it's not going to be a good start to their year.
We live in one of the richest countries in the world, Canada. I mean, we're not Poland, we're not Somalia, we're not Sri Lanka. In this society, we have more than enough stuff to go around, to the extent that one of our big problems is getting rid of all the stuff we have. Here we are standing at a storage unit where there are hundreds of mini garages where people are sticking their stuff because they've got too much of it and they don't know where to put it. So it's really tragic and paradoxical that at the same time we live in this really rich country, there's way, way, way too many people that don't have enough of the basics. And the basics in this case are erasers, pencils, paper, the fundamentals of learning that any child needs when they're going to school. And increasingly, the schools are not able to provide those kinds of things, so kids are given lists of the kinds of materials, school supplies they need at the beginning of every year, the first day back to school after Labor Day. Here's what you need, kids. And if your parents don't have the wherewithal to supply those things for you, you're left out in the cold. Socially, you feel excluded. And one of the most important things about our society that we have to strive for is a sense of inclusion, so that everybody feels they belong, not a sense of exclusion or somebody, oh, you're outside you're beyond the fence, you just don't have enough and therefore you're worth less. If people are interested in donations, they could call our office at the Sisters of Providence. The number is 613-544-4525, extension 113. Any donation over $20, we can give a tax receipt courtesy of the Kingston Community Health Centers. So we're really, really grateful for anybody who can help out in that way.